everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Ridge Riders TV. Today I want to discuss the Can-Am XTP. First of all, I'll talk about a few things I don't like. First and foremost is the exhaust. And this is something that Chris actually pointed out on his brand new Can-Am. He bought the Max model 1000R. It's an unfinished stainless steel exhaust, so you see the welds, and we actually saw a couple of them that the welds didn't look that great. Not that that means that much. I don't care so much for the unfinished look. I think a powder coated or whatever the finish would be would look better. That's not my big complaint though. That's just a little something that kind of bothers us. But my complaint is it's so quiet. The Polaris 850 that I used to own was probably the best sounding ATV in a stock configuration that I've ever had. And the 1000 Scrambler that I drive now sounds great as well. You've heard it. We've had a couple videos lately, some of the chase videos and the rear facing camera videos that showed how great that thing sounds to us anyways. This one has a pretty deep sound if the mic is right next to it, but it is so subdued, which I think most people are probably going to modify them, and some people probably would prefer to start quiet, especially if you're just working on a farm or hunting or something like that. But to me, I'd like to have a little more grunt out of it from the factory, so just a minor dislike there. The other thing that I've noticed right away, and I'm not picking on Can-Am because just about every four-wheeler model does this, but I have muddy water in the front storage box after the first ride. Now, we were riding creeks and stuff like that, but it wasn't submerged, but it's definitely going to get wet. Nothing new with ATV storage, but just pointing it out for you. The other complaint, and I'll put a little snippet in there for you, the four-wheel drive button. The first trip we did after Chris bought his 2025 Max model, he kept telling me that the thing was in four-wheel drive every time he looked down, and I was kind of like, well, listen, buddy, learn how to drive your machine. Well, the first couple trips I took on this, and I don't mean actual trips, but like laps around the woods, I've looked down on several different occasions, and it's been in four-wheel drive, and it's the way that button sits up. You touch that top corner of that rocker switch, it's just going to flip forward in the four-wheel drive, and it drives me nuts. Now, Polaris, the yellow slider that a lot of the Polaris machines have, I had trouble with the same thing with those, and it used to scare me to death because it tells you, don't let the wheels be spinning when you flip the button over. And of course, that's talking about spinning loosely. But anyways, it's just really annoying. And I wish they had some kind of little block on there that would keep you from accidentally flipping that switch. My other complaint that I had noted was the handling. And this thing, when we were riding the other day, and even earlier today when I was taking some laps on it, it's just the way that thing is rolling and the turns, it just felt so heavy. And I don't know why it didn't dawn on me, but I was playing with the suspension and I had it in full soft for the first few hours. Well, I turned it the opposite direction to the firmest setting, and it's a world of difference in the way it handles. So, it's a heavy machine. It's kind of a no-brainer to most people hearing that. Obviously, the firmer suspension, it'll handle a little better. But on the Scrambler I drive, I've always had a somewhat soft, but it was much more adjustable. These shocks on the Can-Am are just 3 settings. So I ended up riding and enjoying the ride more with the settings in the firmest position. But I want to get on some jumps and things like that and see what it does. I also spent the last hour or so riding in the medium setting. So I think that's I think that's where I'm going to leave it for a little while and see how it does. Now, as far as the things I really like so far, the easy access panels. If you take any time to service your machines or clean them, being able to take the side panels off quickly is awesome. and that's all just fantastic. I hope they always do it on all their machines. I'm sure everybody's going to follow them if they can, all the other manufacturers. But it's definitely the way to go if they can continue to do that, because those easy access panels are fantastic. The other thing is the clutch and the shifting on this. When you're shifting to different gears and into park, out of park, and starting and engaging that clutch. Everybody's talked about that with these new Can-Ams, and it's a real thing. Like it's a big noticeable difference, and it's worth it. And I highly recommend you guys get on a machine and trying them out. They've knocked it out of the park with the way these things are set up and the stock configuration. But it's amazing. No more rocking and getting it into gear. It's just put it in gear and go, smooth start. Again, it's really great, and I highly recommend trying it out if you have the opportunity. Also, the power is amazing. I mean, the XXC I had a full exhaust and had it tuned, and this one is stock, and it feels like that. Plenty of power. And again, the clutch kind of plays into that a little bit when you're riding, so it's the combination of the two make a big difference. But so much power. I can't wait to do some comparisons, hopefully with the Scrambler, maybe against the Tommy Hawk 1000, his Sportsman, and maybe I can even get Chris to race me in his Max 1000R, the 2025. So we'll see. But yeah, the power is amazing. Now, last couple of things. Just my opinion on the power steering. The lowest setting is almost worthless because it feels worse than other four-wheelers I've driven that didn't have power steering. It's just when it's off, you're fighting the big heavy machine, and I don't recommend the lowest setting. I think medium or high is definitely the way to go with the power steering. And the engine braking. Engine braking is one of those things that I think some people love or hate it. I think for sure medium or high on that, just depending on what kind of riding you're going to do. I know a lot of racing quads, like people don't like it. They want to be able to just free spin when they let off the gas. But I feel like I can go faster when the engine is braking a little bit. It just keeps me off the brake in turns and things like that, and then on hills. So I think even with the engine braking, you're probably going to prefer the medium or the high, just depending on your riding style. Anyways, that's it for the update. I hope you guys find that helpful. If you have any questions or suggestions or comments, please just post them. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll bring you some more content. Thanks for watching.